There's a whole lot of money going on in Orange County with tourist development tax, and we're going to be talking about all the projects that are looking for millions. What are some of the return on the impacts, and what do we have coming up ahead on this business backdrop? Welcome to the Business Backdrop with Orlando Business Journal, sponsored by Edition Financial. My name is Richard Wilbow, editor-in-chief of the Orlando Business Journal, and we're going to have a great episode today talking about taxes, hotel taxes, or what they call tourist development taxes, and what's happening in Orange County related to several projects that are totaling in the billions when you put them all together. But before we dive into that, we're going to roll right into our headlines and cover some of the top news that happened this week. This week, we're going to start off with Volusia County's first Tesla dealership property sold for $18 million to a YouTuber. Real estate developer and YouTube personality Ben Mala purchased Volusia County's first Tesla dealership for $18 million. The property sold well below its $24.2 million asking price. Mala called the Tesla dealership a strong tenant, and its new building, location, and growth made it a good fit to diversify his portfolio. Then we're going to head back to Central Florida here in Orlando. Mills 50 lands new businesses as demand surges in that district. The Mills 50 corridor is booming with activity. Most notably, it welcomed 21 new businesses, including restaurants and retailers. The growth reflects strong demand for space in one of Orlando's most popular districts that's home to a mix of locally owned and operated award-winning restaurants, bars, shops, and more. The corridor's distinct charm, walkability, and concentration of ethnic food offerings are also cited as attractors for businesses, many sources told Orlando Business Journal. And last but not least, we're heading over to the coast as COCO secured $2 million in state funding for a proposed Brightline station. Specifically, the secured funding is for a proposed access road that will be critical to the infrastructure once the station becomes a reality. The city and rail service now await a Federal Railroad Administration decision on a $57 million grant, and Brightline's ridership grew 15% through June 2026, despite it carrying about $5.5 billion in debt that it's currently working through. And those are our top headlines of the week. Now, before we dive into our story from TDT, here's a word from our sponsor.
When it comes to meeting your short and long-term saving goals, you need a financial partner focused on helping you, not their bottom line. At Edition Financial, we see the real you. For more than 85 years, we've helped Central Floridians get the most for their hard-earned savings. Compare our saving rates to the big banks, and we think you'll like what you see. And with convenient money management tools and personalized guidance, we make saving easy. Edition Financial, exceptional banking for everyone since 1937.
And now we're back from our break. We're going to head right into our main topic related to TDT, the Tourist Development Tax in Orange County, and a bunch of projects that are looking to get their piece of the pie. To talk a little bit more about TDT, we brought Patricia Tolley, our tourism reporter. Patricia, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to everyone who's listening about taxes for the next 20 minutes. But I promise you, I hope I'll make it interesting. So
Patricia, and I know this is something that, is interesting to a lot of people, but is also kind of confusing and really detailed and kind of complicated. And you're obviously someone who's been spending a lot of your time in there because it's, what we do. So can you tell us, obviously there's folks out there that may not know exactly what TDT or the tourist development tax is. Can you kind of give us a little bit of like an intro on that specific part of it?
So, as you said, TDT stands for Tourist Development Tax, and it is sometimes called like the hotel tax or the bed tax. Essentially, it's that 6% tax on hotels or short-term rental stays, and all of the counties in Florida have it. And it was first introduced in Orange County in 1978, and it was to help fund the convention center and the arena. So Florida law says 40% of the revenue from this tax just must be used for tourism promotion before it can go to like other tourism related projects like stadiums or museums.
And thank you for that, because obviously I think you're right, there's TDTs, and I'll use this kind of as a larger term, statewide TDT. I'm not sure if they call it different things in different places, but they all have different uses, right? Like, isn't ours in Orange County has a specific use like you described, but maybe other places, do they have like different uses too that you've seen maybe in like some presentations?
Yeah, like Nashville is one that's kind of interesting. I know our sister paper in Nashville Business Journal, they're kind of covering something similar right now, funny enough. And portion of their taxes, I believe, also can go towards transportation and infrastructure projects. And Hawaii is another one. I believe they just did an additional tax to help pay for like environmental purposes, I guess is the term.
Yeah.
Essentially because, the cruise line industry is really big over there too.
Yeah. So then now let's take it to the present now. What's happening right now in Orange County related to the TDT that's got everybody's attention?
Money. Everybody wants it. Well, mostly because Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings, he brought back the TDT Citizen Advisory Task Force. This is the second time he brought it. The first time, I believe you covered it, was in 2023.
Yeah.
So this group, just like they did a couple years ago, they'll be combing through billions of dollars of requests from groups looking to use this money for their projects. So they first met on July 21st and will meet 4 or 5 more times, with the last meeting slated for August 11th. So essentially their recommendations will end up making their way up to the Board of County Commissioners, who will then vote for allowing what this money can be used for.
You already mentioned some of them. Who are some of the players that are in this kind of race for TDT?
All right. So there's a lot, but I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about the 3 projects that I think me and our team is working on, is like kind of focusing a lot on. One is the Orange County Convention Center. They're looking for $523 million to fund what is called Phase 5B expansion project. So at the end, this portion of the project will build like a 200,000 square foot multi-purpose expedition hall to its existing north and south building. Essentially, that project was approved way before COVID. And then COVID funding was a little, as you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Not secured, I guess, in limbo. So that project 5B was deferred. And so now they're looking to fund the rest of that previously approved project. The next one that we're looking at is the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts right here in downtown. They're looking for $750 million. Essentially, they want to build more venues on some of the properties that they recently purchased. And the big one is the Orlando Dreamers as well. So this is a group working to bring Major League Baseball to Orange County, and they applied for a whooping $975 million.
Man.
Yes. That money that they would use, it would be to partially fund the construction of a proposed stadium in that Orlando tourism corridor around International Drive. So, but anyways, other groups looking for money includes like a bunch of art organizations and sports groups like Florida Citrus Sports here.
So there's a lot that you covered. Those are just a couple of projects. There's so many more, and a lot that you have kind of experienced and gathered in your reporting. Has there been something throughout these discussions that have surprised you? And I know that's kind of a weird question to ask because everything in this is kind of a surprise, but to kind of maybe highlight something that stands out to you.
I think the one thing that stands out to me the most is we don't know how much money is available to spend. Orange County officials have kind of said that this group is here to make recommendations and they don't really need to worry about the financial details. But it's something that's come across mine and to mind of many others from my understanding.
Interesting. So in your reporting of the TDT coverage and everything you kind of been taking in, you were shared an independent financial analysis of the county's bonding capacity. Can you talk a little bit about what you discovered in that report?
Yeah, so this kind of goes into what I was trying to answer, is how much money can be spent. And thankfully, I came across Angel de la Portilla, and he's the president of Central Florida Strategies, which is like a government consulting firm. And so he actually shared the financial report that he and his team did on the county's tourism development tax. So he found that annually, the anticipated revenue that may be available to bond out for new projects is around $41 million. So that means the county can fund projects of up to $270 million, which is obviously not enough for any of the 3 projects I kind of previously talked about. But that capacity can be increased according to the report. So the county has a TDT reserve account and has grown to $433 million. All right, stay with me here because I know I'm getting a little...
I'm following the math. I'm doing the
math.
Yes. Okay.
So the Board of County Commissioners, they agreed in 2022 that this certain pot of money could have $300 million. It must have it. So essentially the account is to be, available just in case if there ever is another downturn in economy like we experienced during COVID.
Right.
So this money can be used to continue to pay for these projects. So, all right. So now the report says we got extra $133 million. Now we can use that to bond projects. And so that can increase the total capacity to $409 million.
Interesting.
Which is still not enough for the 3 projects I previously talked about. But
Sure.
Still, that's a lot of money to go through a lot of projects.
Interesting. And so, that's what you just mentioned there is one of the big questions that we came up in our coverage was how much money is there? How's it going to work? Is this one of the next steps that you see coming from the group is figuring out or maybe not the group themselves, maybe it's not the task force, maybe it's the county once they get past this, figuring out what they can use this money for? Like, what are the next steps that you're going to be following from these conversations?
Exactly that. I mean, I'm going to be following all of the meetings. So we're recording this on July 28th. So I'll be at the one tomorrow, either watching virtually from my laptop or over there at the County Innovation Center. But so many things can happen in the next couple of days. But the meetings are interesting because each organization has about 15 minutes to kind of share their pitch. And then they get another 15 minutes of question and answer session with the task force members. So I'll just be paying attention to that and to kind of see what the recommendations end up being and just keep following along and seeing what the Board of County Commissioners say. And also that board is going to be changing too in a couple of months. So who knows if they can even get this agreement done in time before the new board comes. And believe me, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's going to be after November, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. And so you bring up a good point. And obviously, thank you, Patricia, for sharing that insight on the story as we're following it, because, the TDT, something I followed in the past, like you mentioned, is always been this kind of highly contested kind of pot of piggy bank money that the county gets every year. And there's always going to be a push to see, whose hand is going to get into the cookie jar type of thing.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that push now. You recently had a story, about with Angel in it, where basically it talked about we were going to see this problem. Like there was going to be so much growth in visitation in Central Florida. There was going to be so many people renting hotel rooms, taxes being collected, that we were going to eventually get to a point where we had more money than we knew what to do with. And here we are.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting. But I appreciate, Patricia, you taking the time to share some insight with us. And we're really excited to see where your reporting goes next.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
All right. And we'll be back right after this break.
When it comes to meeting your short and long-term saving goals, you need a financial partner focused on helping you, not their bottom line. At Addition Financial, we see the real you. For more than 85 years, we've helped Central Floridians get the most for their hard-earned savings. Compare our saving rates to the big banks, and we think you'll like what you see. And with convenient money management tools and personalized guidance, we make saving easy. Addition Financial, exceptional banking for everyone since 1937.
So thank you to Patricia Tolley for coming in and talking to us about TDT and everything that's happening with the tourist development tax. That's going to be something we follow very closely at the Orlando Business Journal. And that's going to be a wrap for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again to our sponsor, Addition Financial. And thanks to you for always giving us your time and always coming on the backdrop. So please like, subscribe, rate our show, and tell your friends about the Business Backdrop. And find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else you get your podcasts. And as always, I'll see you next time.